Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk all about an emergency fund, why it's an important step if you're following the Dave Ramsey program, why you should have an emergency fund regardless of what kind of financial plan you're following. And I also want to talk about some setbacks that we have personally had over the last few months in our family and how we are adjusting our budget so that it doesn't turn into an emergency and we don't have to dip into our emergency fund. So if you are following Dave Ramsey, you know that this is like his number one. It's the first baby step in the program is to get a $1,000 emergency fund established so that you have cash when something comes up like a car repair or whatnot when you're working your baby steps and doing your debt snowball. Now, whether or not, say, you aren't using credit cards and you're just going along, but you're trying to take steps towards more financial freedom, having an emergency fund, not even just a savings account, but an emergency fund, a fund that you have liquid cash available to you in case you need it, is a really important thing. So Dave recommends $1,000 for a family, I think of 2 or 4. I can't remember the exact recommendations, or maybe it's just $1,000 regardless. But for our family, $1,000 was our goal. And if you've watched any of my previous financial videos, which I'll try and link down in the description box. I have quite a few that talk about zero-based budgeting, how we budget, why we quit using credit cards, and a little bit more about our financial journey. But you will know that we didn't start Dave Ramsey at the beginning and do his whole plan, because that just isn't how it worked out for us. But after we discovered Dave, we knew that we had to put a lot of the principles into play in our own financial situation, and having an emergency fund is definitely one of them. Now you may be like, well, how am I going to get $1,000 whenever I can barely pay the bills? Well, you have to take some big action. In order to get your emergency fund really going, sometimes you have to make hard choices. You have to say no to the extras. You need to cut that grocery budget down to the bare minimum. And I don't mean deny your children milk, but I mean, and I'm not a rice and beans person. If I tried to feed my kids rice and beans, all you Dave Ramsey fans, they would starve, because there is no chance they would eat it. But I'm saying go for cheaper meals, homemade prepped meals, look, Google or YouTube, eat for a week on $50 for a family. Cut that grocery budget down to bare minimum. Do without, sell stuff. Selling stuff is honestly the biggest way that we got our $1,000 emergency fund. We sold a vehicle, which allowed us to get that emergency fund pretty quickly, but it made us a 1-vehicle family. So it's not we were just had an extra vehicle laying around. We had to make that hard choice to become a 1-vehicle family, because I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband worked semi-locally where he could work it out that he could get rides to and from, or if the kids and I needed, to take him, we would. We cut back on any spending. We did no activities. We ate a lot of ramen noodles. Thankfully, I think when we were, really getting started and wanting to keep that emergency fund, because once you put the money in there, it's one thing. We sold a vehicle and had $1,000 just to stick away, but it's keeping it in there that becomes then the problem, and not wanting to dip into that. And that truly needs to be an emergency fund. This is for if your lights are going to get shut off, if you literally have no money to feed your children that week, car repairs completely unexpected, like your transmission goes and you need to put money towards that. You're getting kicked out of your house and need to put a down payment, or your rent's 3 months behind, or your mortgage is 3 months behind. Use that money then to help in that situation, but it's for true emergencies, not it's Christmas, there's an emergency, I want to go out to dinner, it's an emergency. Reserve that for true emergencies. And in your family, only you can say what a true emergency is. But I think, something that's a basic need that's not going to be met without the money is the only thing that I would say is probably something valid to use an emergency fund on. So this emergency fund probably should be in cash or like a bank that you can get the assets like within 24 hours. You know, sometimes emergencies happen on a Sunday and you need to get it taken care of by Monday, but normally that's not always the case. You know, sometimes I can see like emergency room visits or something like that. But have that emergency fund somewhere that's accessible to you and getting that emergency fund however you can. Selling things is a big thing. There's a lot of stuff in your home you don't use. Cutting back is another big one. Another thing that you could do is, you know, go to your different utility companies and say, I need a lower rate on this. Cut cable completely. We haven't had cable, I think, all of our married life. You know, cut cable, cut Netflix, cut your memberships and your subscriptions. Because if you don't have an emergency set up, that stuff should just completely be cut out until you have it. And then if you want to add it back in later, you can. But sometimes it's like making those tough decisions that nobody wants to make at first to get the ball rolling and complete your first baby step, or just to get yourself some more financial freedom and get yourself an emergency fund set up. I told you guys at the beginning that I would share with you a recent financial setback that our family has had, and you know, I'm sharing this with you not because like I want you to feel sorry for us in any way, shape, or form, but because I want you to know that no matter how hard you're working to like gain financial freedom or work your baby steps, things are still going to happen that are out of your control. So at the end of March, we found out that we were going to have to now pay for our health care through my husband's work. Now, prior to April, we had not had to pay for it. The way that it was structured, the way their like set up or contract was, it was that we paid nothing for health care. Now in April, we started to have to pay over $300 a month for our health insurance. And for some people, I know that's not a lot of money. For us, that's like a big part of our extra, of our spending and of our travel money. And we have made traveling with our kids and like spending that time with them and exploring with them a priority. And so when we heard that, we were just like so bummed. You know, we knew that there wasn't anything we could do about it. We knew that we need health care, especially with just some needs in our family. And so it kind of was a hard blow and hard to take. So we have decided that we are just going to do a really, really good job of kind of just reining the budget in even more. We're going to find that $300. My husband's going to work a couple hours of overtime each month. I might take an extra day or two, you know, throughout the summer to work and make some extra money. And we're going to just get really serious about our grocery budget, about not getting coffees out, which is totally me, you know, just making sure that we can like pull it in, because, you know, sell things off, do things to make up that $300 so that we can still meet our goals. Because if you guys have setbacks and if you don't have them right now, you're gonna have them eventually. Keep your goals in mind, don't change them, try to just push through and keep striving for those goals. Because, you know, you set them for a reason, and that's what we're gonna do. And we would love for you guys to come along with us as we kind of get really serious about our budget. I'm gonna be documenting our journey, doing that and kind of updating you guys. And so if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and we're so happy you're here with us. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.